Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Constantinide. I am a barrister, an international human rights lawyer, and this will be the criminal law series. It will be the starting of the criminal law series. It will be a number of different videos about the criminal justice system in England and Wales, the process, in order for you to be able to understand a bit more about it. So those of you that may be interested to watch those series will be either you are training to become a barrister, so you're a pupil, or you're interested, you have watched too many legal movies, law-related movies, either Suits or Law and Order, and you want just to find out, is this real? Is this what's happening in real life? Or you actually have a case at the court and you just want to make sure that you got things right. You're not quite sure. They use all this terminology and you're thinking, what is this all about? I don't quite understand it. So you may be interested to watch these videos. So it will be criminal law series and I'm going to be naming them accordingly. So for example, today we'll be speaking about the first appearance. I will have a different one for the trial, a different video for pre-sentence report, your sentence, etc. So there'll be a number of different videos about it. But today we're going to be focusing on the first appearance. Now, I'm going to use an example of this ex-person that committed an offence, let's say theft. They stole something and the prosecution, the Crown Prosecution Service, decides that this person needs to be prosecuted. He's done something wrong and we need to take him to court. We're taking him to court because it needs to be proven beyond reasonable doubt. So that means they need to be sure that this person committed this offence. But this is a separate video about talking about the elements of a criminal offence. But the magistrate judge or the district judge that is there, they need to be sure that they committed this offence. So the first appearance, what's the point of the first appearance? So you would go to the court, you will have a date. Let's say the case is tomorrow. It would tell you the courts that you have to go in a London Crown Court or in a London Magistrates Court. You have to be there. Make sure that you're there at 9 o'clock because you will want to give time to yourself to speak to your barrister, maybe go through the paperwork. Maybe the case sometimes that they don't have the paperwork, and this is what we call the MG5. So they need to receive the witness statements, they need to receive your interview, they need to go through a number of things, your previous convictions if you do have any. So they need to go through all this with you to make sure that they're accurate. If there are any mistakes, you may want to explain to them what actually happened. And it's for you and your counsel, your barrister, to decide together whether it's going to be a guilty plea or not guilty plea. So it is very important for the first appearance for you to be there, discuss, enable yourself time to go through all these discussions with your counsel, and then you can decide together about your guilty or not guilty plea. Then your case will be called, so the barrister will let know the legal advisor or someone from the courtroom and tell them we're good to go. Your case will be called, you're going to go in the dock, you're going to be standing there, or you're going to see the defendant standing there. If you're going to be if you're a pupil, then you will be, sometimes I do ask from the magistrates if a pupil can sit next to me so they can really feel the process and understand it, or sometimes you get them to sit in the public gallery and they watch the proceedings. And saying that, just be aware that it's an open court, so you will have sometimes people sitting and watching those proceedings. And then the prosecutor, will open the case, so it will be the legal advisor for them to actually read those charges, and they're going to ask you, do you plead guilty or not guilty? If you say not guilty, then you will have a trial date. They will give you a date. You need to take a note of that date. It's an important date. And that's essentially it. If it's going to be a guilty plea, it will actually go, there's going to be plea mitigation, and then straight there's going to be your sentence. It could be a community order. You have to go through the sentencing guidelines with your counsel and actually see what it is involved and what those guidelines tell you. But there is a number of things that it can be, but community order is one of them. Of course, prison is another aspect of it because we're talking about criminal law here. So the first appearance is about this. It's not your trial. You're not bringing any witnesses. It's not going to be examining and cross-examining. It's not actually happening the trial that day. But if you are pleading guilty, then most likely the day could be done on that very instance, on that very day. Yeah, so it could be done and dusted on one day. If not, then if it's a not guilty plea, then it's going to be a separate trial date for that. That is the first appearance. The first appearance, you're appearing for the first time at the court, and you need to go through with your counsel and understand those proceedings. So sometimes you get to see your counsel going in and out the court, speaking with the prosecutor, liaising. If you're going to be pleading guilty, then that means you may want to speak to probation, see what their views are, if there's going to be another date for them to actually prepare a report for you. So those are, number of things that you have to go through. And I always say that at first appearance, it is vital to make sure that you get everything right, because if it's going to be a trial, if it's going to be not guilty, then there's going to be a form that has to be completed and write down what those witnesses will be, how long we want them to be examined, cross-examined, re-examination. So we are preparing the case for trial in order to be an effective trial. And we need the defendant, we need the client to tell us all these things, and these things take time. Yes, so that is the first appearance. Do not be overwhelmed. I know it's easier said than to be done. Be on time. Make sure you've done your homework. If you have any witnesses, that you've got the details. If it's just about you, just make sure that you give an accurate account of what you believe to happened, or maybe if you have any evidence to prove that, you need to put that forward. Or if there is a CCTV footage that there is available, we may have to go through that with you. So that's the first appearance. If you do have any questions about the first appearance, leave them in the comment section down below. I'll be more than happy to answer to you. Definitely everything that's said to you, it is not legal advice. I'm just preparing this video for a general understanding, so it is a case by case, and I can't stress that enough, that every case, it is different. You have to treat it holistically, and you have to look at it from a different angle every time. And that's the beauty about criminal justice system, is the ability to deal with it accordingly, depending on what you say, depending what your view is, the charges, and the people themselves in the courtroom. It can make things a lot harder or a lot easier. So this is it, and take care whatever you do, and I will see you in my next video, which is going to be part of this criminal law series. Bye bye.